back to Art to Be Lived. Today we are in the world of Dalí Universe and we are here with Marcel Katz, aka the Art Plug.
Hello everybody, thanks for having me. We're here in Modena.
Yeah, we are in Modena.
Yeah? Oh,
yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry. I didn't mean to.
The American way, of course. It's okay, I'm learning.
We are your host. I'm Marianna.
I'm Agnese.
And today we are gonna introduce our guest. And he has come from Miami, that's right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And we know that you have introduced in the world of art since you were young. And you can tell us more?
Absolutely, yes. So as a kid, I've been, painting and making little books and stuff like that since I was in elementary school, and doodling on things in the house.
Yeah.
And as I got a little bit older, I kept, playing with art, but I never really took it, as a serious thing or as a career. It was more of a hobby.
Okay.
And I started off representing artists in my professional art career, managing artists, creating experiences, doing events. And then in about 2020, I started to experiment with my own art. But this was after I began showcasing like Dali in 2020 and doing my showcases with like the Art Plug Powerhouse and other gallery exhibitions. That was in 2017, 2018, 2019. Okay. And so, like I said, like in around 2021, I was like, you know what? I think I could, I'm an artist myself, so I was like, why don't I experiment and promote myself? So I didn't really tell anyone until, or I wasn't public about it until 2022, 2023. And yeah, that's where, I landed into 2024 and 2025, where people started realizing that I was a designer and an artist and focusing on digital and physical art. One of the things I love to do is digital art. I make creations that are used across all social media platforms.
Also with the AI, that's right.
Yeah, I do a lot with AI. Sometimes I use AI and I clip the AI and I make it into 2 to 4 second clips. And what's cool is that I put them onto this platform, and the platform that I use is called Giphy, G-I-P-H-Y. And Giphy it's a back-end art and content tool that works with almost every social media platform, like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, even WhatsApp, communication platforms like that. So it's kind of cool because
everybody uses it.
Everyone uses it. You take one creation and it goes to all of the platforms, right? So I was playing around it was during COVID, 2020, 2019, 2020, when COVID hit. And I made like 3 stickers, Giphies. And one of them hit like 30 million views. And I was like, what the hell? 30 billion views, and it was terrible. I actually did the word T-A-P. Okay. I was selfish, and I was doing it, I meant the art plug, T-A-P. But really, on social media, people look at it as tap, like tap here. So it got 30 million views, and I didn't realize that. I was like, wow, people really like me, But it wasn't about me. It was because they had the word tap. So it blew up, and I was like, wow, this is kind of fun. And then I was learning and teaching myself how to do digital art and graphic design. So after that, I ended up creating. To this day, I have 4,000 online, and I get.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, I get 100 million views a month. I have about 5 billion views in total. So there's like 8 or 9 billion people in the world. So think about that. That's a lot of people that see your art. But that's digital. So then I realized I was a terrible artist in physically. So I kept doing it and practicing, and I started becoming so bad that it was so good, if that makes any sense. So like I would create things that, like I'm not drawing a portrait of people, but I would do like these doodles and swirls and things that you can't really mess up. It's like, I call it idiot proof. So no one can f up. Well, excuse me. Beep, whatever. Beep, beep all the curse words out. So like, for example, when you have like a business or you're an artist, you need a team sometimes. You need a team. It's hard to do everything by yourself. So I designed my identity in art in a way where I could tell, the new guy to just do this, and it will look cool. It'll look just like I did it. So I began to do like little things like let's say stitches, like go like this, whatever. And then I would do like, yeah, you just like swirl and swirl and swirl, and it becomes, as you keep going, it just turns into something. So like, I'm sure by the end of this podcast
Yeah.
or, you know, collective meeting we're having, I'm sure this will look cool. Yeah, so like my point is though, like this by itself isn't that cool, and neither is that. It's kind of like a child did it, right?
Yeah,
But
but
we're gonna revisit this in a little bit, and we'll see how it looks towards the end of the meeting.
okay, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, when did you first approach Dali, and what do you feel is more near about him to you?
Got it. Okay. So that's a
Ho chiesto qual è l'aspetto di Dalì che più gli è vicino e quando è stata la prima volta che si è approcciato al suo personaggio.
Ok, grazie.
so interesting question. I actually didn't really. I knew who Dali was. I always knew who Dali was. I knew who Picasso was. I knew who Chagall was. I knew who Miro was. I knew a lot about. I knew enough, but I didn't really know that much. I was never really. I never studied art history. I never really like read. I mean, I would study like in school. Yeah, you learn, but I was never a professional in art historian that knew the history of all these guys. I found out that he did the Chupa Chupa logo, like 5 years ago. I didn't know, So what happened was I was dealing art. I had an online art gallery. I was selling art. And one of the people that work with Dalí Universe, who was based out of New York, called me because I have a very disruptive way of presenting the art. It's unconventional, it's different. I don't just put art on a wall because it's like everyone does that. It's not fun. I have a really good, I just organically was able to connect with good collectors, and somehow Dalí Universe saw me, and I don't remember exactly how. I think it was through social media. And they had called me. I thought it was a prank call. I thought you guys called me. The Dalí Universe called me. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know anything about art. You're calling it's the wrong guy. I don't know. They're like, we want you to sell Dali art. And I'm like, I don't know anything about how to sell that kind of art. I know how to sell a different kind of art. I specialize in social media art. I helped commercialize art that was considered not art, and create careers towards when social media was really starting to become a little more popular. And but yeah, I was like, dude, you got the wrong guy. I thought it was a prank call. So, anyways, I realized it was a big deal. So I flew to New York, and I ended up meeting with the representation and the guy's boyfriend. It was hilarious. I was like, wow, yeah, you guys are an interesting couple. So I'm sitting on the lip couch. I forgot the design. It was the red lip couch. Yeah, on the Dali couch, and I'm starting to learn a little bit more, do my research. I'm like, oh shit, I hope they still want me, you know what I mean? And I end up signing a deal with the Dalí Universe to be authorized, like through you guys, to sell and market the sculptures and other pieces from Dali, from Salvador. So yeah, that's how it started, which is hilarious. So I did that for a while, and I'm not really someone that likes to sell things. I mean, we sold some cool pieces, like the Dance of Time 2, like Triumphant Elephant, Space Elephant. We did cool showcases. Like I brought a museum sculpture to Miami. I brought the St. George Slaying the Dragon, which is massive.
In 2020?
Yes, during COVID, which if you look at St. George, he's slaying the dragon, and you have Gala going like this or whatever. And during COVID, everybody was freaking out. There was no art shows. Everything was canceled. Yeah, so I did the only show during Art Basel, because Art Basel was canceled. I'm like, fuck, am I going to lose a lot of money? Or is this going to be a success? Is it going to get canceled? I figured out a way to still do the show, and it was supposed to be like a 2-week partnership with the Hyatt. They ended up loving the way we did the show so well that they asked me to do it for 6 months. So I called your people and I asked them, like, yo, they want to do it longer. And I'm like, can we do it longer? They're like, let's do it. So we did it. We continued till after Dali's birthday, which was May 11th. So we did it for until a week after that, and then we, closed the show. It's a lot of work to be running these shows. It was probably one of the biggest longest shows we ever did. But what was really interesting was the fact that St. George slaying the dragon represented COVID. And it basically represents humanity overcoming COVID. That was the meaning behind that sculpture coming to Miami. So we did the show in South Beach, and it was actually the first time that Dali ever had an official show in Miami. So it was a pretty cool, historical moment for the art community, especially in South Florida. But we do have the Dalí Museum, which is in St. Petersburg. But when you do a show like that in South Florida, people have never really got an opportunity to see so many different works. Because we had it was like 13 sculptures, plus the museum sculpture, plus the wall art, plus experiences throughout the hotel. Even the rooms and the elevators were all Dali. So it was a very cool show. It was very, very impactful. And it got covered by major magazines and editorials. I'm talking like Forbes, Travel and Leisure, Men's Journal. It was really, really good. It went extremely well. And yeah, we were the only ones that did a show during Art Basel. It was cool. So it was, everybody wanted to come. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Your relationship with the Dalí Universe has grown and changed, and
Yes.
I want to know how and what's the new project with the Dalí Universe.
Okay, that's a great question. I'd love to answer that one. So it's super exciting. So I started to obviously be, like we were talking, get more into designing and doing physical and digital art. I was creating cool assets for Dalí Universe, just having fun with it. And I started focusing on eyewear. I made my own glasses like these, and but just for fun. And then people like those, and people started to. My friends would ask me, yeah, and I make them here, which is kind of cool. Everything is made here in Modena. Nothing is made outside of Modena, and everything's handmade. But I made one pair. That's it, and I did it for myself. And then my friend, came to me and said, I want one of those, but I don't like the color. It's too bright. I want black. Okay, I'll make black for you. So I make black, cool. Then, a girlfriend asked me, hey, that shape is cool, but I'm a girl. Can you make something for a girl? So, sure, I made another shape and another color. So little by little, after, 2 years, I had 4 shapes.
Okay.
Right? So then, this is 2020 through end of 2022. Is by the time I had 4 or 5 shapes. Then it went, I kept going and going, and then more people started asking me until I had 5 shapes, 6 shapes. So I ended up getting called to do, I didn't even have a website. I didn't have a website, didn't even have social media. It was just doing it for fun, and I just loved it because it was just a cool thing that no one really knows. It's hard to make things like this. It requires engineering, it requires design, it requires a vision, and it requires consistency. You can't just, like a painting you can make in a day, or a song can be a hit overnight, but glasses, it's like an art collection. You have to develop it, keep growing and growing, and it's the collection that speaks. You don't make a hit painting or one hit pair of glasses, unless you're, I guess, Kanye West, who made those glasses like that. But I mean, I think that the Dali ones that we're about to do, which is what we're about to get to, is going to become that. It'll be a viral, very successful design that will become iconic. Kind of like, you ever seen the heart-shaped glasses?
Yeah.
That is an iconic pair. They do really well. They do hundreds of thousands of units a year of those. My point is, I ended up getting called to do a show here in Modena.
Okay.
And my Valerio, who was my lead at the lab, which is where we make all our eyewear, he's like, do you want to do a show? I'm like, well, I don't have enough glasses. He's like, let's make more and we'll be ready. I'm like, but the show's in a month. He's like, don't do it. I'm like, all right, cool. So we do it. So I go to EV, Elena, super cool. She had me there. And I get there, I'm like, holy, this is the coolest retail concept store I've ever seen in my life. They have Isabella Marant, they have Marnie, they have really, really cool designers in there, Rick Owens, stuff like that. And they did a show with me. And it wasn't Dali, it was just an eyewear show, and Tommaso shows up with Eleonora, I think, and they see me, and they know me already, obviously, because I was dealing the art, and we have a relationship from the past. So they asked me to come to the museum, because there was a show at the Civic Museum.
Yeah.
Right? So they come, we'll give you a tour, and we'll connect, and just we'll vibe, Dope. So I'm like, sure, let's do it. So I go, I think it was the next day or 2 days later. So I go to the museum, and I'm walking around with Tommaso. Towards the end of the meeting, after we do the whole walkthrough, he looks at me. I was wearing those glasses. They're wearing those, but in a beige. It was like a soft pink, kind of like this.
Okay.
He looks at me and goes, And he's like, we're outside, he's smoking a cigarette. And I'm smoking a cigarette. And I'm like, we're chain smoking, they're like 3 each, 4. And he's like, you know, those would be cool. We should do a Dali one. Maybe we could do it. I'm like, whoa, are you serious? Like, I thought you were kidding, you know? Like are you serious?
But
This
he
is
was not kidding.
This is like September of last year. Okay, this is over a year ago. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. I guess I can do it. I'll kill it. Let's do it. So I kept in touch with him. I ended up producing a prototype, which is in this shape, but it didn't look like this at the time. So it was more like, you know, I sketched the shape, whatever. I actually made the shape in the hospital. I took this, this, because I was sick and I had like some crazy thing happen to me. So this is the shape. I had it on my iPad, and I'm like, how do I make something that is Dali? And so I basically took the ant, the FORMICA, the insect's legs here, as you can see, and what I did was I melted the shape. I added more here, made it thicker, and I made it look like it melted. As you can see, it's like it's melting.
It's cool.
And then I was like, well, okay, it looks cool, but how do I make it even more Dali-ish? So let's add a fork to the end of it, you know? So, which I used to eat. I ate some tuna yesterday because I was really hungry. I was like, ah. And then the spoon.
Oh my god.
This is my, so that's a crazy one. I use it really, I mean, it's meant for a lot of different things. Depends on if you like to party or you like to eat.
Yeah, okay.
Obviously, I use it for almost everything. I use it for sugar in my espresso, or I use it for when I'm out partying, clubbing, and shit like that. And, you know, FORMICA, exactly.
FORMICA.
And I ended up taking it, I'm like, you know what, now, how can I make this even more Dali? It's not enough. I want it to be wow, 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 right?
Wow, wow, wow.
So,
Okay.
Wow.
if you see Chanel, right? Chanel, you know, they made this pair of glasses where they wrote on the outside. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but like, it's like tacky. It's like, okay, it's for somebody that doesn't really know fashion, that wants everyone to know they're wearing Chanel. It's like whack to me. It's like, it's for a dork. I mean, I like dorks, don't get me wrong, I'm a dork myself, but it's for someone that doesn't, they want to live, you want to wear someone else's vision, right? So I was like, you know, how can I make this more Dali's vision? So I took his best quotes, his 2 most successful quotes, or most known quotes, which is, I don't do drugs, I am drugs. And then I wrote, have no fear of perfection, you'll never reach it. And I applied those, and then I started adding different motifs throughout it, on the inside and outside. And what I thought was interesting was the fact that since these are handmade, they're never going to be perfect. They're always going to be different. And that's why we micro-produce the eyewear. We don't really make that many. So over the next couple years, we're going to be making a lot of these, but no 2 will ever be the same. Everything is made by hand. So have no fear of perfection. You'll never reach it because we're humans. We're always going to be, it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah,
everything you do is going to be a little bit different. That's okay. So using my handwriting, I wrote all over the inside, added the little ant here, and developed a bunch of cute little like motifs to add to the glasses. These are artist proofs. So these aren't the colors that we're really going to the public with. The colors we're going to the public with are shocking pink, because that was
Not like that.
it's going to be identical, but it'll be the real shocking pink. Those are like strawberry shortcake. I made those because those
Like
are
schiaparelli.
those are like practice, but those are going to be the most valuable because we're only making 111 that are the artist proofs, and the 111 are going to be all different, with different color acetate, right? So like and they look great. They look great on men. They look great on women. They look great on gays. They look great on animals. They look great on dogs. They fit on everyone, just not children, because obviously, but we will do children's later. So what we're releasing is 111 like this. We're doing 1,904 of the shocking pink, and then 1,904 of the black. Color code of shocking pink is the FC0, and then 01, 01, 01 is the off black. So like those are the 2 colors. And then what's cool is the black will have the shocking pink writing on the inside, and then the shocking pink will have black writing on the inside. So there's a touch of femininity to both, but there's also masculinity. So it's a good balance.
Yeah.
And we're really excited about doing it. I mean, the Dali team, you guys, especially Tommaso, has helped immensely in making this a project that is being able to actually come to fruition. The packaging is insane, as you can see here. We got this is like the oversized sampled bag, but you can see how big it is. Like, imagine it. You know, usually the bag is like small. We're like, let's go big. So, and then you have the shocking pink powder, kinda. It's whatever you want it to be, but it's like the shocking pink color code. You know, it actually is supposed to say the color code, but then we also have it'll be black and white for the EAs.
Okay.
But then you have the motif of the ant, which is the FORMICA.
Formica.
Yeah, you have the ant right here. See? It's cool. Yeah. And then what else? We got like this. It comes with a big bag. I'm waiting. It's like the bag is kind of like this, but
Okay.
it has.
Bigger?
It's a little bit bigger, but it's going to be these colors.
Okay.
And it has like a strap, so you can wear it and shit like that, so it's cool. And then we have these awesome microfiber cloths, like this. And what's cool about these is that you have one side like this, and they're giant, like, you know, it's kind of almost like a napkin. And then the other side, you have a black and pink. But for the EAs, which is those, or these, it's black and white.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different, and then the bag is just like this is on the EAs. It's cute because it says FORMICA, but in blue, pink, purple,
Okay.
yellow,
Multicolor.
red. Yeah, it's
Okay.
like because it's custom. You get to pick what color you want if you get the EA. If you get the artist proof, you could say I want purple. You know what I mean? So but yeah, so we marketed it. I mean, the way I look at it is it's a sculpture that you can wear. So it's a piece of art.
Yeah.
And they're all numbered, and they're going to be able to. You're going to have the option of being able to have a stand, so it'll sit like this. Well, it'll actually work on this actually.
No.
It'll sit like this, so you have a stand, right? And instead of putting your glasses on a shelf in your house, like and you throw
Just
your
like
glasses.
that,
Everybody does that.
Yeah.
No brand really has anything like.
But
you look at
that's
Chanel,
art.
Prada, whatever. Okay, cool. You get a box and a case, and then when you get home, you're like, okay, cool. Just throw your glasses. But after a year, your glasses look like they don't look good anymore. So I thought, I'm like, me and Tommaso figured, hey, why don't we stand them on a shelf in the house, and then you can kind of enjoy them in your closet or in your room or wherever, because they look so cool. So yeah, I mean that's kind of where we're at now, and now we're finalizing the final production. We actually just had a meeting, Tommaso and Valerio at our factory, and we went over where the placement's going to be, how we're going to do this stuff. Like for example, here, see how it says. I did this. I put Dali before Marcel because out of respect for Dali, you know. But we ended up switching it and putting Marcel here because we connected that. See how it ends right here. My line and my logo ends this way, and this one ends this way. But if you put it this way, they connect. It's like they're holding hands. Yeah. So we switched it up a little bit. And then we went over some of the ways some of the ways that the design can be improved.
For those listening, what's the expect from 2026?
What do we expect? Oof. It's a lot of shows. We're going to be doing a lot of interesting and unique marketing. We're going to be doing a lot with the community. We're going to be a lot of education. My main focus is going to be designing like eyewear, little showcases here and there. You know, going with the flow. You know, I'm definitely going to be doing a big show with a few thousand people for 2026. This year for December, I've never taken a break and chilled out. I usually do a giant show, and it drives me. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. I want to just be able to go around Art Basel and go to my friends' shows and show love and say what's up and things like that. Because usually when you do a show, you have to be at your show, you know, and you can't go to the other shows. So it's like, how do you get inspired when you're only doing your own things? You get inspired by doing things like this, being in Modena, being in, you know, going to someone else's art exhibition. Doesn't matter if the art sucks or if the art's good. You know what you like, you know what you don't like, and that's how you can improve your vision and your direction. So to me, that's super exciting. And I'm super hyped and honored to be doing this with them. I never thought that this would happen. So yeah,
Wow, cool.
it's dope.
So thank you, Marcel, for being here with us. That's the artwork he has made for us. Oh my God, it's cool.
It's a little 5-year-old made it.
Fire.
But it's okay because, oh, my mic's off.
Turn it up.
It says tomato.
For tomato. Yeah.
Right.
With sound, I say
What?
tomato.
Tomato, for tomato.
The song, I say potato.
Potato, tomato, potato, tomato, potato, tomato, tomato, potato.
Okay. Thank you, Marcel.
Oh,
It was great.
Oh God. Thank you guys, you guys are so sweet. Yeah. Yay.
So
Promoted.
stay tuned
Oh,
on Dalí Universe and also in the art plug Marcel Katz, Maison Marcel, and sorry for my English, really. But it was great.
Thank you. It was a lot of good time. We should do this again.
Yeah, definitely.
In italiano?
Dovremmo rifarlo.
Yeah! Thank you guys.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.